I'm in a van. So
Down by the river.
Yeah.
really easy for me to listen to it. But I haven't listened to the AFC finished product yet.
And if we like go a little over too, like it's not like the
No,
last.
right.
episode,
As long as it's
that's
good
like,
stuff, that's fine.
Yeah, 5-10 minutes over here and there is not gonna be the end of the world. So cool. You guys ready?
Ready
for some football?
Let's rock and roll.
Are we ready for some football, gentlemen?
Yeah. Oh, that
Yeah,
was
we are.
lame. That was
Come
lame.
on.
Man, that
Are
was
you
really
ready for
bad.
the football?
No.
on.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that.
Clearly, you're not ready for some football. Well, this is the Pigskin Pricks, and we're ready to talk some fantasy football.
Oh.
So this is our first fantasy episode. So keep in mind, we are better than the experts. So you need to take our opinions here for this episode.
Damn, if this is our first fantasy episode, I should have the palm trees and shit in the background. I mean,
you really should.
Evan, I love the fact that you think there's actually experts in a certain field. So I really like to hear that.
The so-called experts. So
right, of course.
All these names that you're going to hear in this episode are the names you need on your fantasy squad. 100%. Maybe not the ones Joe says, but otherwise.
We'll go with it. Hey, there's Mother Teresa. Welcome back. His ears disappearing and shit. Yeah, that's nice. That's real nice.
Well, we're going to start. What's on the beer menu? What beer do you have over in, what are you, in Maui over there?
I don't even really know where I'm at, but it sure is nice here. The weather is fine. A little windy, but hey.
Just a touch.
What beer do I have? I'm going first for once?
Yeah, because
I'll take it. I'm going to take it because I'm so happy. I'll do my standard. Oh, it didn't disappear. Oh, fuck. Shit, I forgot about this. You screwed me. I got to turn it off. Hold on.
There goes
you did that on purpose, Evan. You didn't want the background.
Thank you, Evan. We really appreciate
Back
that.
to the basics.
The fans, thank you.
No, they don't. They love that fucking virtual fantasy.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to drink?
I did drink while I was at it. I'm not going to talk about it. Oh, this is a great one. Joe's going to love this. This is a classic down-home Boulevard Pale Ale.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
Yeah. So I don't get to have this around here.
Love it.
Because they don't sell it in fucking Tennessee where I live or anywhere nearby.
Yep. Where'd you find it?
I was social distancing by having my sister-in-law come visit us, as Joe knows, but for the rest of you. And we put in an order for a case, or not a case, just a 12-pack of pale ale and unfiltered wheat. So I gave away unfiltered wheat if I decided to do it later. But those are two of our favorites. They make lots of good stuff. But the pale ale is my favorite. So
yeah,
unfiltered
wheat is my favorite.
It's fucking great. Okay. Unfiltered wheat's wonderful, but that pale ale is good. Just because I'm such a homer for this beer, I'm just going to go ahead and give it a 10. Simple as that. It's a 10.
All right.
Okay.
I could drink this beer all the fucking time. Yep.
It's impossible to dispute that because I wouldn't give it a 10, but I like it a ton. It's really really
probably because absence makes the heart grow fonder because I haven't had it forever.
That's probably we drink it all the time.
Yep.
So yeah,
all right.
There's a reason for that. Matter of fact, I'm a fan of all Boulevard products. The Cosmic IPA, Tank 7. You name it, I drink them all.
Something I didn't know. I have to point it out. It says, you can't read it, but it says first keg was November 17th of 89. That's kind of cool.
There you go.
Very cool.
There you go.
I like the label even. It's pretty cool little change they have since the last time I saw it. It used to be more.
I was going to say it's different.
Yeah. Now, they did get bought out by somebody. That's my only downfall of Boulevard. I forget who bought them out.
And I can't remember who that was.
But they were awesome when they were like actually a locally owned down-home Kansas City brewery. But still, they're good. So.
Yeah. Still quality beer.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So, this is inspired by John. I did have to bring the old boy back.
Woohoo!
I had it. Fat Tire, New Belgium Brewing Company out of Boulder. We've drank this for years. When we went skiing up there, we were young. John's brother Rick said, "Hey guys, there's a beer I want you guys to try," and it happened to be Fat Tire. Fell in love with it. It's a great beer. I've drank it ever since. I always have some in the fridge just because it's just quality beer. Right. So Fat Tire, I'll give it an 8.5. It's quality beer. It's not a 10 to me, but I mean, an 8.5 is a great beer. It's the same thing I give Alaskan Amber. I love Alaskan Amber. They're just quality beer. So here's to you, John. This is to an oldie but a goodie.
Boys are drinking well tonight.
Something cool about that, we can actually claim, and people can dispute it, but fuck them. We actually were drinking that beer when it was pretty local to Fort Collins and not nationwide.
All right.
And it was the first beer that started getting around, and then their other flavors started getting popular too. And now you can find it.
It was actually New Belgium's first big beer.
Absolutely.
It went.
Wow.
Their Sunshine Wheat's not bad either. Back to like a wheat.
It's good.
Sunshine Wheat's pretty tasty.
Yep.
You boys are really drinking well tonight. Bringing back the classics.
We are, yeah.
8.5 and a 10 right?
That's we can stop here. We're done. Fuck the fantasy shit.
We don't even need to talk fantasy.
Who needs wide receivers? Come on.
Let's go get another beer. We'll just sit here at TS. Turn the background back on. We'll sit in the beach. And
Fair enough. Wonderful. You guys have found your beach. All right. Well, I guess people came for wide receivers. They came for that. So I guess we could. We're a little obligated to talk about them, at least for a couple minutes.
Let's do it.
So let's give it a shot. So I'm gonna throw one name out there.
Roll a die, a 3-sided die.
We're all in consensus. Are we all in consensus that Michael Thomas is the top wide receiver?
Yeah.
Do we need any debate on this?
No.
Everybody who's listening and likes football
Yeah.
knows Michael Thomas is the best receiver in football.
There's not even any debate, though. Something that popped in my head that we talked about was Emmanuel Sanders might take a little bit away from him, but not much.
No,
still gonna be the top wide receiver in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he'll. I don't think it matters. He's so good and so dynamic.
He's putting up numbers.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who covers him. He gets the number one guy every week, and he still leads in fantasy numbers. I mean, the guy's just he's unbelievable.
The top team in the NFC, the Saints, should have the best receiver. So
yeah, you would think they got a pretty damn good quarterback throwing to that number one receiver.
That's right, they do.
So, you got to give him that too.
All right, well, Michael Thomas is done. That's all we need to say about
Evan. Pick who's next. Give us a second person randomly.
Well, I'm going to stick with the NFC South.
Oh, you're going to go again? Okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I was telling you to pick one of us, but you can.
I thought you were telling me to pick a receiver.
I don't.
Oh well, either way, you can pick.
You're already there. Go ahead.
John and I, we're pretty good receivers too. I mean, if you want to pick one of us,
that's who you are.
So NFC South, you already went there. Let's hear it.
Yeah,
so you're picking another Saints player?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Chris Godwin.
How did I know? Jesus Christ!
You give him Tom Brady at quarterback. You add in Rob Gronkowski as another weapon. You have Mike Evans across as another wide receiver.
Quality.
This guy broke out as a number one last year.
Yeah,
his numbers are only going to go up. I see him being, if not a top 3, a top 5 guy at the very least. So,
for sure,
Tom Brady's going to like Chris Godwin. He's better than any receiver on the Pats. To say, put it mildly.
No doubt. Yeah.
So
I like that pick a lot. I think.
I don't disagree. I think it's a good pick. I didn't have him quite as high. He was really good.
John hates the Bucks. He hates Tom Brady.
I actually don't think Brady's has as good of arm as our boy
Peyton.
Jesus.
Are you calling Jameis Winston a better quarterback than Tom Brady?
No, I'm calling him a stronger arm than Tom Brady.
What does that matter about in terms of getting them the ball?
It absolutely does not.
It does matter.
It doesn't. I mean, you can sit there now. It doesn't matter.
I saw Brady throw the ball last year. It wasn't as impressive as it has been in the past.
But he did. Look who he was throwing to.
No, the ball still got to get there, and the ball did not look nearly as good. It hasn't for the last couple of years.
Yeah, but if it's in the same arena as Chris Godwin, he will catch it.
He's a great receiver. That's what I'm not disputing. I think he's a great receiver. I think they have 2 great receivers on that team. Yeah. I think they're going to have a very good tight end on that team. I think that's going to hurt his overall numbers because of that, and Brady's arm isn't as deep. So he's going to get the ball plenty. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think he might slip a little compared to last year. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, fair enough. Well, then who do you have?
I actually like DeAndre Hopkins because of Kyler Murray and where he went. I think he's a great number 2.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be the second best guy, but he could be the third best guy. I'm okay with that.
I was hoping somebody would say DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, obviously, we all know he's a great receiver. But again, John, we talked about this in prior episodes. They're missing reps. They have not worked together yet.
Yeah, I hear you.
And that's going to hurt him, at least early in the season. Now, that he may tear it up at the end of the season, but if we're talking 17-game season or 16 or whatever, that hurts. And so I think that's what's going to hurt his numbers is early in the season. They're just not going to be there. He's not.
Brady and Godwin have the same problem.
What's that?
Right, Brady and Godwin have the same problem. They didn't play yet. So I agree. I think they got such a complete package. But well said.
Yes.
That the great running back Kenyon Drake that they also have. I think there's so many. If Kyler does as well as we think he may,
yes,
their weapons are so strong on offense that I think that DeAndre Hopkins is
right.
I
think that's a good pick.
And the only thing that I would say, you're right. The Brady Godwin thing has the same thing, but I would say I would trust a veteran.
Yeah,
much more than
established.
I would trust Kyler Murray,
second-year guy. Yeah.
Just because he's done it for so long, I'd say that he has a better opportunity to get there faster. But listen, we've talked about Kyler Murray. We love him. I hope he does well. I'm rooting for this kid. DeAndre Hopkins, we know he can catch the ball. I mean, the guy's
and
ridiculous.
He's fast.
And he's the whole package. But you're right, Kenyon Drake. That's a big question mark because that guy's going to take a lot of carries, but he catches it out of the backfield too.
It's only going to complement that offense.
Yeah, I think so.
It will, but by complementing that, it also takes catches away from him too.
Sure.
Right.
Agreed.
When you've got that, and he didn't really have that competition in Houston. So
right.
we'll see how that actually affects him.
Absolutely.
So my guy, I'm just because I think. Well, I'll explain. I'm taking Tyreek Hill.
I knew you were going to do that.
I love the pick.
I'm taking Tyreek Hill because I just read about him, and he has started doing he's huge now into yoga, and he got into it. And he's like, you have no idea what it's done for my flexibility and my route running, right? Because we all know he's fast, right? But so he's serious. He does it 7 days a week, twice a day. And he's like, my movement, my ability to be able to make cuts and do this thing, it's just improved his route running so much. And so I'm really curious to see how much more that'll set him apart from other receivers in the league. And so really that's why I picked Tyreek Hill. Tyreek hasn't really been that guy that's had really high numbers because you've got Travis Kelce, and listen, when you're competing against Travis Kelce, it's just hard. We got this new running back coming in. You got Sammy Watkins on the other guy. He doesn't score a huge amount of points, but he takes points away from Tyreek Hill. But I'm still going to go with him. Number one, because the Chiefs are my team, but number two, because I've read about this and I'm really curious to see if it really helps change his game.
Yeah. I actually agree with that pick and like it a lot. And I would have picked Tyreek Hill as one of my top three as well, because I think I didn't actually know that about yoga, but even though I'm not an NFL receiver, but doing yoga, not twice a day, but you do notice the differences just in your everyday life. And
he's night and day. Yeah. He's like, it's unbelievable.
Okay. So
love the pick. My only comment, I didn't pick him high because I thought the other weapons on the Chiefs, kind of like what I'm worried about with Tampa Bay, just make it hard, right? He wasn't in the top 10 last year. He was not even in the top 20. He was 28th on this site I'm looking at. I'm sure it depends on the play. So he had a good year, and obviously he can light it up. It's just so many weapons.
Yeah.
So many weapons.
Yep.
Can I give you guys a sleeper who I think is going to be in the top 10? That nobody's talking about.
If you're ready to whip it out already.
I want to give you guys a sleeper. You don't have to do sleepers just yet, but I want to give you – this is the guy I feel most confident about next.
Okay.
And I think he's going to break out to be a top 10 receiver in fantasy, if not top 5.
Okay.
And I think it's DK Metcalf in Seattle.
Wow.
Now, this is a guy – he was a rookie last year. I know, Joe, you watched the Seahawks quite a bit, so you're quite familiar with him.
I am.
He was considered raw coming out of college. I remember the scouting reports on him. They didn't think he had that pure route running ability. He was sort of just a raw physical specimen, I guess you could say.
And he is a specimen.
Yeah, this guy's a freak of nature. I mean, you saw his performance against Philadelphia in the playoffs. He caught 170 yards, caught a touchdown in that game.
Just ridiculous.
I think he's going to break out and be a pure number one receiver in Seattle. And this is a guy who's being drafted as in the 20s range in terms of receivers. They got 20 guys ahead of him at receiver. Right. So if he's available in the middle of the draft, he's just sitting there. How can you not take him? I think his upside is so high.
Well,
I think he seems like a candidate to be that next number one.
I think he's unknown. And so a lot of fantasy guys are out there, or gals. I mean, I don't want to tell you, there's a lot of girls that play fantasy too. I just think because he's so unknown that people will be like, who's this guy?
Right.
And so, but for people that have watched him and know, he might even go sooner than that. Yeah. Evan, he may not make it into the fourth round.
He's projected He's projected in the as like the 20th receiver around there. Right. I was looking at a page that had all of the experts' averages, and so the average was around 20 is where they predict.
Right, and I'm sure that's based off of last year's numbers too. So I mean, obviously, there's you got to take that into account as well. But I love that as a sleeper. I think that's a quality pick. It's actually not one I expected anyone to say tonight, but no, I love it.
Same here. I like it. I didn't look at that one. That one totally missed my board, Evan. But as I look at last year's and this year's projections, like I said, in the low 20s, and he was just right at 30 last year. So if he was a rookie last year and top 30 receiver, sounds like he's got some good upside.
I think so.
Yeah.
All right, who do I want to pick? I'm going to pick somebody. Well, there's an obvious one, but I'm going to skip him. There's a guy I was going to go. He would be my third, but I'm going to skip him because I'm going to throw out a little more of a wild one too.
Are you doing a sleeper, John? Is this your sleeper?
He's not really my sleeper, but it's more like in line with a reasonably good wide receiver that I think only going to improve this year, and that's A.J. Brown in Tennessee.
Okay, I like that pick.
I think he's going to move up. Yeah, Joe's probably like, I hate fucking Tennessee.
Good old Ryan Tannehill throwing him the ball.
And that's the problem.
Him in Tennessee. I mean,
Tannehill's not the greatest quarterback, but A.J. Brown did really well last year. And, again, a team with a running game, decent defense. I think this guy's going to move up.
Okay. That's a solid pick. I mean, he's projected, in the teens in terms of total?
Yeah, he's on this one, he's 11. They got him picked as 11.
11th best receiver?
Okay. Yeah, and last year he was 10th. So actually,
he was already a top 10 guy.
Yeah, right. Off this side, anyway. It depends on how they score points. So it can be a little different for everybody's leagues, but I liked it, and I'm like, I think 11 is playing it safe. I think he's going up. Just because, they got OBJ ahead of him, and I don't think OBJ is going to continue to be. I don't think he's going there.
I like OBJ to have do a little bit better.
I think he's going to be a good receiver. Absolutely, this year. Yep.
I have a problem with him playing for Cleveland.
That's my problem. That's my problem.
If he's on a better team, then he does much better. Baker Mayfield has not shown. He regressed last year. I just don't see much of a step forward. So,
and if they struggle early, is OBJ going to act all personality complex issues?
Yeah, because
saying he wants traded.
Right, he tends to do that from time to time.
I don't know. So. I think Baker Mayfield plays closer to his rookie year where he played well. So
it's possible. Now they've got Stepanski, who came over from Minnesota, and he's an offensive guy. So I mean, we'll see what they do. He's going to need some protection, though. I'll tell you that, Ev, because without it, he's a done deal. All now right. I'm gonna go ahead and throw out my sleeper pick as well. Now my sleeper pick was way down last year, guys. I mean, out of the top 20, but I think we're gonna have a major comeback this season. I'm going with Juju Smith-Schuster. In Pittsburgh, because you got Big Ben coming back, and this guy can just play. We've seen him play. He had a down year last year because obviously he's got Mason Rudolph throwing him the ball. But with Big Ben coming back, they've already got a relationship. Antonio Brown's gone. This guy's the number one. Let Big Ben air it out to him. We all know Big Ben's got a big arm, and I just think that Smith-Schuster is a weapon, and he's going to be dangerous. And if you can get him in later rounds especially, I think you got to jump on this guy. So I'm going to throw him in as my sleeper.
Okay. I think that's a safe pick because, with Mason Rudolph as the quarterback last year, we saw that regression. But, I mean, who else does Pittsburgh have in terms of them throwing the ball? That's easily their best receiver. So I like that pick. I think that's definitely a safe one.
Yeah.
Do we have any guys who we think might fall off a bit who are, maybe being a little overhyped? I mean, you guys already talked about OBJ. I kind of like OBJ to come back a little bit. I think he does better than maybe right around where he's projected at as the 10th, 11th best receiver. But looking at the list of top guys, I mean, I could see. I don't think Amari Cooper is going to be a top 10 receiver. I think they have too many weapons on that offense. Amari Cooper never puts up huge fantasy numbers, anyways. I just don't see him being top 10. I don't trust Dak to get him the ball and put up top 10 fantasy numbers.
But he made me curious, Evan. How did he? He was top 7 last year. He was 7th.
Yeah.
Well,
on this side. So that's an interesting one. I think he's going to slip some. I don't think it's because he's going to be, but I think because he's getting CD on the other side.
Yeah,
that's going to help.
Yeah.
Take away a little bit from him. We would expect. I think he's still going to have a very good year. So I didn't have him in my mind. I didn't have him slipping a lot. I didn't pick him because I didn't like picking him. I thought there were some better choices, but I think he's a very good pick.
I'll tell you, I actually think it could possibly go the other way, Evan, and let me kind of explain. I think what happens is you get CeeDee Lamb in there, and he tends to open things up a little bit because he's such a dynamic receiver. You can no longer pull two safety or all that safety help over to Amari Cooper's side because CeeDee Lamb's going to burn you on the other side. I think what it does is it evens it up for Amari, and I think it maybe opens the door for even more catches. So I actually think that maybe he's going to progress as opposed to regress this year. I could be wrong. I don't know. It really depends. Maybe CD takes all the catches and he takes a huge step back. That's humanly possible. I'm just not sure that that's going to be the case. And again, I'm big on reps. CeeDee Lamb doesn't have them. He has a relationship with Amari Cooper. That helps a ton. You get your timing down with wide receivers big time. That's a big thing. So I actually see a progression there.
Okay. I see that. We have about a minute or two left, so you guys want to
I wasn't prepared for guys slipping. I got a couple other potential picks that we might want to throw out there, but
you can give us your last couple picks.
So another one I was going to say. So nobody said it. Julio Jones. How do we? Yeah. I mean, I think you got to go with that guy. I actually had him above AJ Brown, but I think he's going to have another great year. I think Calvin Ridley continues to do better, and that continues to help Julio.
Yeah, I like that pick. I not as much though because you got Calvin Ridley, and Calvin Ridley he's an all-star. I'll tell you, John, the guy that I like to score some points, and he may hit the top 10. I don't know that he's going to get any higher than 10. But what about T.Y. Hilton? I mean, this is a guy that's got Phillip Rivers now throwing to him, and it's like that could be a dangerous. That could be a dangerous deal there in Indianapolis. And, you were talking, Evan, about guys that we think are going to take a step back. Let me throw out Jarvis Landry. I just think that he had such an amazing year last year. He really did. I mean, if you look at his total points, they were high. What was he in, John? The top 5 or 6? I believe that he was.
Let me see. So
I want to say
he did have a good year.
He did. He had like 175 fantasy points, which is ridiculously high. I mean, Mike Thomas had 204 or something. So I mean, he was up there real high. I do think that he's going to regress a little bit, and not a ton. I mean, the guy's a quality receiver. He's really good at what he does. But I do think that because of the year he had last year, people are gonna pay attention. And I think maybe he kind of slipped under the radar this last year.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it'll happen again. And so he'll have a little more trouble getting open. So that's kind of my regression guy. Ty was another guy that I threw out there, and he's kind of a sleeper too. I mean, you could say Galladay out of Detroit.
Yeah,
guy's a stud, and Marvin Jones. Both of those guys coming out of Detroit. They're obviously going to make some noise. Another guy that I'll throw out here real quick, John, and I'll let you have it back, is Adam Thielen. Listen,
All these guys are on my list of potentials.
Okay. Yeah.
I just had to pick a few that I really liked. So I'm not. I like Ty for the same reason you did. It's like I think he's going. I'm going to name a slipped one that I do. He's on the top of the list that I just didn't identify as one I wanted to go with because of Green Bay struggles. Is Devontae Adams. I actually think he's going to slip this year just because his team's going to struggle.
Yeah,
not a bad player. He's still going to be probably a top 10. I just don't think he's going to be third best. I think he's going to slip.
John, here's the deal. They can double team him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They don't have anybody else. And that hurts. And it's unfortunate because the guy is really good. I mean, he's a great receiver. But when you can pull a safety over full time and say, hey, you help him cover this.
The only thing that'll help him a little, again, is a running game. The team's, at least this last 2 years, they've had a running game, which they didn't have. So occasionally you're going to have to stack the box a little bit and might give him some opportunities. But I still think he's slipping.
Yeah.
Still a good receiver.
A
guy we didn't
worth the top 3.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't grab him as my first pick in the draft. That's what I'm saying.
You also got to talk a little Stephon Diggs and John Brown there.
Gosh, you beat me to it. I was going to go to Stephon Diggs, but that's fine. No. And John Brown.
John Brown's a good pick too.
I think it's interesting. They got Stephon Diggs over John Brown as far as what they're saying is going to happen this year. And I think it's going to be very interesting.
I think that's going to open John Brown up. I actually like John Brown to score more points than Stephon Diggs because John Brown gets the number 2 guy. Well, right. He's got that timing with Josh Allen. He's had the reps, but he's also going to get the number 2 guy because everybody's going to put their number 1 on Stephon Diggs.
He was getting the number 1 last year.
That's exactly right. And look what he did. Yeah. So I like John Brown over Stephon Diggs. But listen, Diggs is going to get his. He's going to get his catches.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we all know it, and they just trust me. Buffalo got a lot better signing. That was big time.
Oh yeah, that was a good move.
So out of rookies that signed, who do you think is going to be the best rookie from a fantasy impact this year?
You can go.
I hate saying this, but it's Jerry Jeudy. It kills me because he plays for Denver. Mm-hmm. It kills me to say that, but I think this guy has the tools. He's the best route runner of the guys that came out in the draft. And if you know how to run routes when you enter the NFL, it's such an easy transition as opposed to the guys that come in, they can fly. These guys are running 4.2s and 4.3s, but if you don't know how to run a route, timing's a big thing. I think they struggle more than a Jerry Jeudy. So he's my rookie.
I like Jerry Jeudy to put up some points, but I was going to say CeeDee Lamb. I think he goes into Dallas.
Of course.
And in that Mike McCarthy offense, you do have Amari Cooper on the other side, so he's not going to get.
Right.
I think Amari Cooper is better than Sutton in Denver.
Yeah, so. and that's why I think Jerry Jeudy will actually get more catches. Yeah.
Right. But I think it's CeeDee Lamb. I think he's just explosive.
There's no doubt
for Dallas. So
yeah,
I think he puts up some serious, fantasy points. He could make a splash similar to when Tyreek Hill came to the Chiefs.
Yeah, it could.
See a similar impact.
Good.
Yeah, I think Jerry has a good potential, but I didn't want to say him because of Denver, to be honest. So I really was leaning towards CeeDee Lamb because I think when I just think of the teams, I think of Dallas being a pretty good passing team in general. It's part of their persona, and that's only going to help them.
Dude, I thought about saying Henry Ruggs.
All of them are good choices. But
I hate Las Vegas more than I hate Denver, so I went with Jerry.
I think of anybody that has the biggest risk of saying who's going to make the impact, I think it's Henry Ruggs.
For sure. But he's
going to be good
guy out there.
Right? He's going to be very good. It's going to help them. Cool.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I think we knocked down a bunch of good guys, and there's so many we didn't even talk about because there's so many out there.
We could keep going listing every receiver.
Absolutely. That was good. I was shocked we kept it as varied as we did.
Right.
You guys were good deal.
All right, right on.
Had some good players. All right, boys. Well, I think this concludes our wide receiver fantasy picks.
I think so. What do we do next time? Running back?
Next time is, I think it's our top 3 fantasy running backs.
Hey, did you know we're celebrating something today?
National Hamburger Day?
This is our 10th episode.
Hey, we hit double digits.
Hey, where's the confetti and balloons?
I know.
Man. I mean, what's
number?
going on here?
I read the number to hit is 20. Over 90% of podcasts don't make it to episode 20.
Well, let's do a bunch of 1-minute podcasts.
Yeah. We'll just put them all out tomorrow.
Right. Just release them.
We're here. Yeah.
You name a guy. I'll name a guy. There'll be different
number.
podcasts, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, all right. And we know there's a few more out there that may never get released that we've done that we're not sure we love enough to give to the viewers. But 10 official that are going to hit the streets.
Sweet.
That's pretty good. It's good.
That's
Halfway there, guys.
I like it.
Halfway there. Let's do it.
Love it. Whoa, we'll make it.
Take care.
All right. I'll see you next time.
I'll see you
Have a
guys.
good night. Later.
All right. Later.